I'm going to say this as clearly as possible. You already know your next step. You've felt it. You've thought about it. You've had that moment where something in you went, yeah, I need to do that. And then what did you do? You questioned it. You overthought it. You told yourself you need more time. You looked for confirmation. And now you're here, still thinking about it, still circling it, still waiting. So this isn't a message to give you something new. This is a message to bring you back to what you already know. Because the reason it feels like you're stuck isn't because you didn't have clarity. It's because you're not moving on the clarity you have. And I want you to really hear this. You don't need another sign. You are the sign. That feeling you keep getting, that pull you keep noticing, that quiet knowing you keep overriding. That is your intuition, your energy body 6 doing its job. And in a universal year 1, where everything is asking you to step into a new identity and actually lead your life, you don't get to stay in indecision, not without feeling it, that frustration, that restlessness, that sense that something needs to change. That's not pressure. That's the part of you that knows you're ready. You're just not moving yet. Now, if you're new here, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm your spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. And this space is where we don't just talk about what you could do. We bring you back to what you already know you need to do. So before we go any deeper, if you're ready to stop circling your next step and actually take it, hit subscribe and tap the notification bell and join this space, because this isn't just content. This is where you stop waiting and start moving. So take a breath, let this land. Now, before we go any further, I want you to pause, not scroll, not think ahead, not try to figure this out. Just pause. Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in and out. Let your body settle for a second, because what I'm about to say isn't something you need to analyze. It's something you need to recognize. This isn't coming outside of you. This is for the part of you that already knows, the part of you that doesn't need more explanation, part of you that's been quietly waiting for you to listen. So just stay here for a moment. Let the noise settle. Let the urge to overthink drop slightly. You don't need to get this perfectly. You don't need to understand every word. You just need to be present enough to feel what lands. Because the truth doesn't come through when you're trying to control it. It comes through when you're willing to hear it. So take one more breath and let yourself be here. Open, present, and honest. Because this next part, you already know it. You already know what you need to do. You've known for a while. You just haven't done it. And it's not because you're confused. It's not because you need more time. It's not because you haven't fully processed it yet. It's because you don't want to deal with what happens when you do. Because let's be honest about what your next step actually requires. It requires you to be uncomfortable, to have the conversation, to set the boundary, to make the decision, to stop waiting. And you've been avoiding that. You've been circling it, thinking about it, talking about it, preparing for it, but not doing it. And the longer you stay there, the heavier it feels. Because every time you ignore that instinct, you feel it again. Stronger, more direct, less ignorable. That's why it's still there. That's why it hasn't gone away. Because it's not optional. It's your next step. And you keep looking for something else, something easier, something clearer, something that doesn't require you to step out of your comfort zone. But there isn't anything else. This is it. And the more you avoid it, the more your life starts to feel misaligned. Not because something is wrong, because you're not moving. You're waiting for the discomfort to disappear before you act. But that's not how this works. The discomfort doesn't go first. You do. And I need you to really hear this. You don't need another sign. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need to just be sure. You already are. You're just not trusting it. So whatever just came up for you, that thing your mind immediately went to, that's it. Stop questioning it. Stop looking for something else. Stop delaying it. That's your next step. And it's time you take it. So let's look at what you've been doing instead, because you haven't been doing nothing. You've been doing a lot, just not the thing that actually moves your life forward. You've been thinking about it constantly, replaying it in your head, imagining how it might go, preparing what you would say. You've been telling yourself, I just need to be sure. I'm waiting for the right moment. I don't want to rush into it. But let's be real. You're not waiting. You're delaying. Because if you were waiting for the right moment, you'd recognize that it's already here. The truth is, you've been hoping something external would make this easier, that the situation would change, that the person would say something first, that you'd suddenly feel ready so that you wouldn't have to take full responsibility for the move. And I get it. Because when you take the step, you can't go back to pretending you don't know. When you say the thing, it's said. When you set the boundary, it's set. When you make the decision, it's made. And that level of finality, that's what you've been avoiding. So instead, you stay in movement without progress, busy but not changing, thinking but not deciding, preparing but not acting. And the longer you stay there, the more it drains you. Because part of you knows this isn't it. This isn't what I'm meant to be doing right now. And that's why it feels so heavy. That's why it keeps coming back, because you're trying to move forward without actually moving. And it doesn't work like that. So if this has been feeling louder lately, more persistent, harder to ignore, almost like it keeps coming back, no matter how much you try to move past it, there's a reason for that. We're in June, the energy of Energy Body 6. Your intuitive body. And this part of you, it doesn't deal in confusion. It deals in clarity. It gives you that first clean signal, that knowing, that sense of this is right, this isn't, this needs to change. And right now, that signal is stronger, which means you're seeing things quick, feeling misalignment faster, recognizing what needs to shift without needing as much time to figure it out. So if you've been thinking, why can't I just move past this? Why does this keep coming up? Why does this feel so obvious? It's because it is obvious. Your awareness has caught up. And then we layer on top of that a universal year 1. This is the year of action, of self-leadership, of becoming someone who doesn't just know what's right, but actually acts on it. So this isn't the kind of year where you can sit in indecision comfortably. You'll feel it, that tension, that frustration, that sense that something needs to move, because it does. And the more you try to stay where you are, the more uncomfortable it becomes. Not because something is wrong, but because you're out of alignment with where you're meant to be, where you're meant to be going. So this isn't pressure. This isn't life pushing against you. This is life pulling you forward. And that thing you keep avoiding, that's the doorway. That's the next step that brings you back into alignment. Not another answer, not more clarity, but action. So now that this has landed, where are you actually going to do? What are you actually going to do with it? Because this is the point where most people slip. They hear something like this, they feel it, it resonates, and then they go straight back into thinking about it instead of acting on it. And we're not doing that, not this time. So I want you to keep this simple. What is the one thing that came up for you? Not 10 things, not a full plan, just one. The thing your mind went to immediately. The thing you've been circling. The thing you know you've been avoiding. That's it. And your only job now is to take one step towards it. Not the whole thing, not perfectly, just one step. Send the message. Start the conversation. Make the decision. Set the boundary. Whatever it is for you, do something that moves you forward. Because this is where you shift out of the loop. Not by thinking differently, but by acting differently. And I want you to notice something. You don't need more clarity. You don't need more time. You don't need to feel more ready. You just need to move. Even if it feels uncomfortable. Even if part of you is still unsure. Because the moment you take that step, everything changes. You go from thinking, doing, knowing, acting, avoiding, moving. And that's where your power is. Not in waiting for the perfect moment, but in choosing to act in the imperfect one. So what came up for you? Don't push it away. Don't overthink it. Don't come back to it later. Move on it today. So let's be real for a second. At this point, you know what you've been avoiding. You know what needs to change. You know what your next step is. And now that you can see this clearly, you don't get to go back to pretending you don't. So the question isn't, what should I do next? It's, am I actually going to do it? Because that's where everything shifts. Not in the moment you realize something, but in the moment you act on it. And you've had enough moments of realization. You've had enough clarity. You've had enough understanding. Now it's about movement. Because if you leave this video and go straight back into thinking, analyzing and delaying, nothing changes. You stay in the same place with the same thoughts, the same patterns, the same frustration. And I know that's not what you want. So don't let this just be another moment where something clicks and then nothing happens. Let this be the moment where you actually move, where you take that step, where you stop waiting, because you don't need another message like this. You need to act on the one you've just received. So if this landed for you, if you're ready to stop circling your next step, and actually take it, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the notification bell, because this series is designed to move you out of your head and into real embodied change step by step. And if you want support with this, you can grab my free numerology quick guide in the description box below. It'll help you understand your natural decision-making patterns and where you might be overriding your intuition. And if you're done delaying, if you're ready to take responsibility for your next step and actually move forward, then book a 30-minute strategy session with me. This is where we take everything you've just realized and turn it into clear, aligned action. No more waiting, no more circling, just movement, just decisions, just you actually doing the thing you already know you need to do. So take a breath and then go do it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.